notes. Okay. So special interest groups is where I first began really growing outside of my warm market before anything. And I still do. I still use my groups to friend and find new people. And it's where I found Martha at. Martha and I was in, I don't know, maybe it was Lighthearted Hygienist or Dental Hygiene Talks? That's usually.
I think it was Lighthearted.
Was it? Yeah. And Kristen Gagnon, I found her from Lighthearted, and a lot of my challengers have came from there. I've got a couple people from Lululemon groups. Like I said the other day on Monday's call, I posted into a dog group, and I haven't even went back to it because it just went crazy. I mean, I have over 500 likes on my dog turning 10 and like a ton of comments, but I'm not going to lie, like a lot of these people that were commenting did not look like my avatar. So you definitely would have to go through and figure out, okay, like who would I really connect with? For me, when I pick my career, I feel like, for a hygienist, it's so targeted, and we're all pretty much the same age group with very similar goals and stuff like that. And really any career that you pick, if you're in nursing or you're in teaching or whatever. So I always think career groups are a great one. And then any kind of fitness group that you can get into fitness groups are kind of really what I find to be beneficial as far as like when you're friending people is finding people who comment on healthy recipes, or people like Emily Skye or Rocker Betty. Like those are some big ones on social media that have fitness pages. Are always good ones too. But okay, so let me go how I kind of started and what I do now in special interest groups. So how I started is I began posting. And here's where a lot of coaches, like they don't understand this part. So you can't go into a special interest group like a dental hygiene group or a dog group and post about your challenge group. Because first of all, you're going to get booted out very quickly. Because and you got to think there's a lot of other people in these groups that are doing some kind of multi-level marketing. So how can we set ourselves apart? How can we be different? So my goal going into special interest groups was just to like connect with people and make friendships. So when I posted, it would be whatever was related to that group. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm not trying to create a post for them to do a challenge group. I'm just trying to connect and build relationships with people and build friendships from there. So, for example, I'll use my hygiene group. Like when I was practicing hygiene, I would always try to post kind of funny things and anything that would get people's kind of attention or would get them laughing or get a comment or get a like or get something from them. That's what I would try and post. And it had to be related to whatever the group is. So just like in the dog group, the dog group last week, I wouldn't go in there and try and post about my challenge group. I went in there and posted about my dog turning 10. So it has to definitely be related to the group. Otherwise you'll get kicked out really quickly. You really won't get the attention you think you might, because people often find themselves being sold on social media. So they're going to feel like they're in this group being sold. So that's why you get booted out of there. All right. So when you're posting, you want to post group related things. And what I would do is when somebody would like or comment, I would go and friend request them. They see me in the group, and they seen I was a normal person. They seen, for me, if I was posting a hygiene group, I was a hygienist. I was practicing. I was either talking about my struggles, my day, or whatever it may be. Or in the dog group, I have a Yorkie. I obviously have a dog. I've had a dog for 10 years. It's her birthday. We celebrated. I'm a dog mom. They see that I'm related to that group. And typically people in these groups will accept your friend request. And I've had many people say that to me. They would say, hey, yeah, I accepted your friend request because I noticed you're in this same group with me. And then what began to happen is I began to have a ton of mutual friends with these people. especially when I was kind of zoning in on one group, I began to have like 20 plus friends with these people. Because I was friending. Anytime somebody liked or commented, I would go and I would friend them. And majority of those people did accept my friend request. So I really grew my following pretty quickly because of, connecting with people in these groups. So I did try to eventually plant some seeds. I will say what would go across best in a special interest group was something directly related to it. Okay, not planting seeds, but directly related to whatever the group was. But I would go into groups like my dental hygiene group. I would go in and I know like a lot of us that have busy careers or are busy as a hygienist, you have a really hard time eating through the day. Like that's the biggest struggle when I talk to hygienists is that like our schedules are so packed that we just don't have time between patients to eat, drink, pee, do whatever. So I went in there and I posted a food prep recipe, which was like my turkey muffins. And I posted the recipe and I said, hey, a lot of people have issues of trying to get in something really quick to eat at work. Give this a try. If you guys want to know more, I have a health and fitness page and I linked it. So I would do that sometimes. I won't lie, I didn't get a lot of likes or comments. But I would get a little bit of attention from that. Or if somebody seen that post and I went and friended them later, they would be like, oh yeah, I seen your post that you had, you have this health and fitness page. So I did start to incorporate planting seeds, but I never posted a call out in a group ever. Never inviting people to do a free group or I didn't want to get kicked out of these groups. So that was something that I always tried to avoid. Now, maybe you would go in there and talk about, Kristen Gagnon's actually done this before because she's in Lighthearted Hygiene, RDH with us, whatever it is. And she posted about doing her detox and drinking apple cider vinegar and had done a little post about that. And then she had done a post about, getting fit for the wedding and trying to fit into her wedding dress. So all of those things are kind of planting seeds where you're just talking about it, but you're not directly inviting somebody or making them feel sold. Okay. So that's one really important thing. I think sometimes that message gets lost when I talk about building friends from special interest groups is they feel like they can go in them and post a call out. That's not what I mean. So how did I friend people otherwise? It got to the point, and especially now, it's really hard for me to go into, especially a hygienist group, it's really hard for me to go in there and post anymore. First of all, time. Second of all, I no longer practice. So I have recently posted not that long ago about doing a episode series when I was doing the Talk Dental to Me. And I talked about doing an episode series where I was still able to share that side of me. Again, planting a seed. But once I got past, not having the time to post as much and spend time on that, then how did I make connections? So I would go and look who posted that day and comment on their stuff. And some of these groups really have some pretty interesting stories that you can get lost in. You don't want to spend too much time there, but it is nice to go and see what people posted that day and find out where you have a connection or a relationship with. And if this special interest group is something that's part of your hobby, this will be enjoyable for you because it's interesting, right? So I would go in and I would comment, and then I would go friend that person. Okay, so they would see she commented. Oh, she's in the same group as me. Oh, okay, I'll accept her friend request. So that was another way that it was not so like, oh, who's this girl? She's friending me. They already see I made a connection with them in the group, and then I sent them a friend request. Would they always accept my friend request? No. But a lot of times people did because we have the same interest, the same hobby. Another way you can use special interest groups, say you are wanting to look and see if somebody's asking about weight loss or somebody's getting married. I know, Martha, you're getting married, so obviously you would connect to anybody who is going through that whole process right now. So do you guys know how you can use your search engine in your groups to find certain things? Like I've taught my challengers to find recipes by searching turkey muffins or whatever. And anymore, if I am having trouble seeing how often somebody's posting, because I have like 100 people in my challenge groups, and sometimes my challengers get lost, what I can do is I can put in their name. So I can put in Nicole Base, and it will only show me her post and where she commented at, which is really helpful for you guys if you have, challenge groups and you're trying to track people a little bit better, especially in your free groups and they get really big. You can do that and you can search those people. And it was always really helpful for me for when I would go message them that day and check in on them and be like, oh, hey, I seen that you posted this and this and this and this. You're doing so good. And it makes them feel like I've been sitting there watching them the whole time, when actually, I was trying to, but I actually just typed in their name and seen all their posts that day, or the whole group, not just that day. So you can do the same thing in a special interest group. You could type in weight loss or gym or wedding, any type of keyword that somebody used in their caption. And I've done that in these groups before. I've typed in weight loss and I've found people that were, or shake or whatever. And I found people that were asking questions about how can I lose weight. So what I would do is I would friend that person or comment on their post. It just depends what their post may have been. If it was about a wedding, then I would probably go and say, hey, I'm getting married too. How exciting. What's your wedding day? Have you got, or ask them some kind of question and then go friend request them. You know what I mean? So they can see, oh, okay, we're in the same group together. Oh, she's getting married too. Okay, I'm going to accept her friend request. So that's another way that you can find friends in the group, okay? And then one thing that I've been doing lately, because I have been super busy with cash and have a hard time trying to do the other stuff that I used to do when I had more time, is I will just go to members or I'll just go to who posted that day and I'll friend whoever posted that day. Which is really random, but I get a lot of people accept my friend request that way. Or I'll just go to the members, and this is probably the least best way of getting my friend request accepted, is just going to the members. They may be just a member of our group and haven't posted in it in like years. But if somebody posted that day and you friend request them and they see you're in the same group, then most likely they'll accept your friend request. Okay. So the other way is going to the members list and really just looking at the members and being like, oh, they look fun. Oh, they have cute kids. Oh, literally, like, I really don't overthink it. And I think so many coaches overthink it, or they let their ego get in the way of, well, will they think I'm weird? I seriously don't care anymore if anybody thinks that I'm weird or strange, because these are all strangers to me on the internet that will either choose to connect with me or they'll choose not to. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If they do and we become great friends, like I have with most of the people I've connected with, then awesome. If they don't, life goes on, right? So that's kind of my mindset when I go into these groups, is just not to overthink it and, really try and connect with people that I think will have similar interests. So just for example, if you posted in your dog group and you're looking at the profile picture and it has a lot of the profile pictures had ladies in their 50s and 60s and 70s. There's just people that I don't think I'm going to connect with. I could probably help, I could probably still definitely help them. But for me, my mindset is I'm really trying to grow and build my team more than I'm trying to find challengers. And I think at the same time, when I'm trying to grow and build my team, I do find challengers, because I often find people that are still struggling, but they still want to be a part of something, and they still want to be able to work from home and things like that. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword, but I definitely think that you have to look at their profiles and kind of decide, can I connect with this person? Because if you can't connect with them, what kind of message are you going to send them when you do reach out? Like, hey, we're in a dog group together. All right. So not overthinking it was my biggest thing, is just not overthinking it, getting in the groups, getting over your ego, just friend people. And, if they accept it, they do. If they don't, they don't. Now, if they accept it, what do we do then? You have to talk to these people. Like, you can't just have them accept your friend request and then nothing. You have to talk to these people. So one of the questions maybe is like, okay, what do I say? And it all depends on what group they come from, what you're going to say to these people. So for me, I'm going to give you an example of one thing that I would say, and this is actually something that I have created on a document in my computer. I've started to come across people that somehow they didn't make it through the cracks, or should I say made it through the cracks? I don't know. Anyways, I didn't get to reach out to them, in other words, and I forgot, or I didn't see them. So I actually came across somebody today as I was greenlighting people. I clicked on them and clicked on message. I had never sent them a message before. And I was like, oh crap. Well, I found out they were a hygienist. It was probably somebody I found from a hygiene group or whatever. So here's the message that I sent them. And it would say something like, hey, Danielle, I first want to apologize that I have never reached out to you until now. I normally try to introduce myself to anyone that I friend or friends me, because I don't know. Did I friend them? Did they friend me? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just now getting around to doing that. But I did notice you are a RDH2. How long have you been practicing? So maybe if you're in a dog group together, I did notice that we're in I Love Yorkies together. How old is your dog? Or what's your dog's name? Or how many dogs do you have? Whatever's related to the group, and ask a question. It's always important to ask a question because you want them to respond to you, okay? And then I go on to say, I also wanted to let you know I sent you an invite to my health and fitness page and hope you check it out. So I use my health and fitness page as a conversation starter. And Nicole and I, we've talked about this a lot. Actually here this week, but I use it as a conversation starter. So that's where I go into, and then I tell them about it. It's a fun page I have going on to encourage others to get motivated to be healthy with their families. I enjoy sharing my life and getting to know others along the way. The best part is my weekly recipes, and I know that everyone likes new food ideals, so I hope you enjoy it. My recipes are mainly clean eating recipes. I also post sample workouts that can be done at home. Are you into health and fitness? So anytime I'm wanting to get my conversation going to fitness, it's been very easy to use my health and fitness page as a conversation starter. Now, some people don't have a health and fitness page, or they don't have enough content to post to a health and fitness page, because I think your content needs to be different. I don't think, if you guys look at both of my pages, you're rarely going to see that the content is the same. You may see what I posted last week come up on this week, but I try to keep the content different because these people are on both pages. However, I do know that they're going to see my personal page first, but when they do go to that page, I don't want them to go through it. They will probably scan it, and I don't want them to see the exact same post that they've seen all week on my personal page, okay? Okay, if you're somebody who does not post a lot, or you do not know what to post, or you don't have a lot of content, first of all, if you've been a coach for a while, it's really easy to recycle content. So and Martha and I talked about this past week. I had sent her a message that it's a really good idea once you've been a coach for 6 months or more to go back to some of your old posts, put them in Google Keep. Google Keep is a really great resource that I've been using, and I think Nicole's been using it now too. But it's an area where you can save your picture and save your caption, and you can go back to it and you can repost stuff. So always trying to come up with new content doesn't have to be a necessity. Like, you just recycle, reuse what you got. So that's always an option too. But you can also tell them, instead of saying, inviting them to your health and fitness page, what a lot of coaches will do is they'll say, I also wanted to let you know that I use my personal page for my own personal accountability, but also to encourage others to get healthy and fit. And then you can still go on to say the exact same thing. What did I say? I enjoy sharing my life and getting to know the exact same thing. And I can post this in our thread too, guys, if you want me to. But you don't necessarily have to have a like page to still turn the conversation into health and fitness. Okay. Now, you don't always have to go straight to health and fitness. I personally kind of like to do that because it gets the conversation flowing, or maybe they'll totally ignore that I asked them anything about health and fitness and answer the other question. Yes, I've been a hygienist practicing for 6 years, and I do get that a lot. That's what I'll get when people get that message. They'll usually answer that question, but they sometimes will ignore the rest. But that's typically one of my messages that I would send people. Or say if they came from a Lululemon group, you can always say, hey, I noticed you were in the same Lululemon group. Typically, with, I don't know, I'm making this up on the top of my head, guys. But you could always say, I know that a lot of women in this group really enjoy health and fitness. I wanted to send you a friend request because I figured that you might want to learn more about cleaning. I don't know. I'd have to sit and write it out. That's not a very good script. Don't use that one. But you know what I mean? Like, you can connect to them according to whatever group it is. And if it's a Lululemon buy, sell, trade group, that's one group I'm in. It has like 20,000 people in it. Or if you found them commenting on a Emily Skye post or Betty Rocker or some kind of other health and fitness page, you can say, hey, I noticed that you also like this health and fitness page. I thought that you may really enjoy my page because I use it to encourage others to live a healthier lifestyle. So, just don't overthink it. Just think, how can I connect to these people? What can I say to them that shows that I'm genuine and I'm not trying to sell them? So I never friend these people and try to automatically send them a cold invite. Never will I send a person that I friended from a special interest group a cold invite. An invite to my health and fitness page? Yes. And start a conversation, and down the road when I do a free group, will I come back to them and invite them to a free group? Yes, I will. But I don't want to start my conversation off with offering them even a free group or a challenge group. I just want to make a connection, and then I track them. Like I said on Monday night's call, I track these people. So anytime anybody comments back, I will track them on the Excel sheet, what we talked about. And then when I do a free group, I go back to those people, the first people that I invite. Okay. Do you guys have questions? About the groups or posting and really, guys?
No, I think I organized better.
And let me show you all.
That's my problem. I need to start tracking.
I'm not that super organized. Like, I'm paper and pencil, but when it comes to new conversations, I am fairly organized. I do try to do an Excel form, and I'm going to share my Excel with you guys. Like, it's really super basic. Here's my Excel form. But, and it says new conversations at the top. I mean, I've made 479 new conversations since I started tracking this form I started tracking it in October. And I've made almost 500 new conversations. And you guys may see red over here. Red indicates that they've either told me absolutely not, they have a coach, they are a coach. And I make them red because I'm going to go back and eventually unfriend them. Not to be mean, but only because I'm only allowed to have 5,000 Facebook friends, and I use my personal page for my business. So I'm up to 3,500. Like, I don't want it filled with a lot of coaches or people who already have coaches. They can follow me because my page is public, but I need to keep it open to potential clients or potential teammates. So yellow means that they have, I track in callers too. So yellow means that they have interest in a group, and green means that I've sent them a link, but usually the green get all deleted because they've already bought something. And then, sorry, I scrolled too far. And then look, I put my last follow-up. So I did some follow-ups the other day of anybody who responded. So in this column D, you're going to see their responses. So loves fitness, thinking about being a personal trainer, or taking nutrition classes. And then over here, I used to track better. It used to say where they came from. But now I can make other notes like this person is a coach already. This person already has a coach. I know who the coach is. So it's really pretty basic, and I have it up on my computer. So when I go and do my 5 new conversations, I go ahead and write their names down. And then as they respond back to me, I go back to this Excel form and I write down whatever we conversate. Okay. And then everybody else I track on paper and pen. So that's what works for me.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. I'm not a techie person. Some people use other more techie things. Brooke's very organized, but she also uses email. I'm not an email person. I hate email. Hate email. But she uses email, and she uses something called Streak, and it's a tracking system too. But I know, like, if you guys are familiar with Danielle Natoni, she's like a top coach. She's in the Insanity Max 30 videos. She's the modifier. But she's one of the top coaches, and she's a paper and pencil. Like, so top coaches can still use paper and pencil. It's whatever. And I listened to a call because she's like, you know what? I know coaches use this and this and this, and they use, all this techie stuff. She's like, I use a notebook and pen. And she goes, it's whatever works best for you. It does, if you find yourself to be more organized with an Excel sheet, use it. If you find yourself to be more organized, for the longest time, my first year and a half of coaching, I used a notebook and I wrote every single person's name down. And then I was like, man, this is a pain in the butt. And pages were starting to come out. So now I have an Excel form. It's always on my computer. I use my computer for most of my new conversations because I like to type. I don't like to sit and tap on my phone. So it just is convenient for me. Somebody's cooking something. Is that you, Nicole? I hear a shake. All right. Do you all have any questions you think of? There is an album section. I think I have it pulled up. I'll show you really quick. There is, oh my gosh, I got a bunch of messages popped up here too. Okay, there is an album section. Albums 55 through 63. Or no, it's of 6. Okay, yeah, 55 through 63. And it's called Building Outside Your Network. And shoot, that's not the one. Scratch that. I fibbed. There's one album that is called Using Special Interest Groups that shows you examples of things that you can post. Post. Sorry, I thought I had this all set up for us, but I should have clicked on the thing. I didn't. Oh, special interest groups, what to post. But really it's whatever's related to the group. But I did put this in here just to kind of give people ideas of, oh my gosh, I just got a bunch of messages pop up again. Go away, go away. Okay, so, even in, like, this was in a hygiene group, I posted about Hallmark. I asked people, who watches Hallmark? What's your favorite Hallmark movie? Just to get conversation going. That was it, just to get conversation going. And in another group, maybe a fitness group, I don't know what I posted it in, but I posted about, I think this was a hygiene group it was, because I posted about my headband and how it didn't slip off. Because that's like, you don't like a headband that doesn't slip off, especially when you work in healthcare and have gloves on most of the day. But it's just fun stuff. It's not anything that has anything to do with, what we're doing with coaching. It's just whatever's related to the group. I know that here's a seed that one of the coaches, Jessie Holland, actually, she's in a 31 group, and she had posted about using her bags, her 31 bags, for challenge group prizes, and asked, I think she asked for suggestions, but she put 21 Day Fix, Fit for Life. And so it was related to the group, but it was planting a seed too, that she has challenge groups. She gives away prizes. Her group is for 21 Day Fix. So that was a great idea too. I think that's a really good way to incorporate talking about what you actually are doing without selling. Okay. Okay. All right. Do y'all have, I keep saying that. You guys got any questions?
I don't think so.
All right. So use those special interest groups. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is don't overthink it. Don't let your ego get in the way. They either accept your friend request or they don't. If they accept it, then message and reach out to them because they did accept it. So I think it's important to introduce yourself to people. I always hate when people like friend me and then they put me in an event or they put me in a group or they put me in things I don't ask to be in, and they don't even introduce themselves to me. It just like ticks me off. I unfriend immediately. All right, y'all. That's all I got for you tonight. And yeah, so I know that I think Leanne Yonker was wanting to do a call eventually about the Coach Online office. So we'll try and make that our next one. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good night.
You too.